Fishing Obsessed podcast. We'll be sitting down with a fresh guest each week. Someone who shares the same kayak fishing passion that runs through our veins. We're talking kayak anglers, kayak companies, lure experts. Heck, anyone who's got a story to tell about landing the big ones from a kayak. We're setting our sights on becoming the #1 kayak fishing podcast in the world. You'll get a chuckle, a grin, and hey, maybe even a belly laugh. Because we believe in the power of humor. But above all, we're here to educate and inspire. So, whether you're a seasoned kayak angler or just dipping your toes into this exhilarating world, join us on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. It's time to reel in adventure, camaraderie, and the joy of the catch. Here's your host, Darren Windle.
What's up, you fish freaks? Welcome to episode number 128 of the KFO Show, your ultimate source for all things kayak fishing. And before we get into it, let's set the tone. This episode isn't about numbers, patterns, hot baits. This is about that one bass, that one that ruins it really for every other species out there, the smallmouth, right? It doesn't just bite, it like changes you. It pulls harder, fights dirtier, and lives in places you have to earn. So tonight on the KFO Show, I'm sitting down with Josh Chrenko from Achigan Brand Fishing, and we're talking about why smallmouth anglers are just wired a little bit different. Wyatt, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, man? Don't let the short sleeves fool you. It's freezing here.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how it is up there.
Woke up this morning to -30 wind chill. That's how we're doing up here.
Yeah, I always told people, like, once it gets to like -10 or so, it wouldn't matter to me because I wouldn't leave the house and just.
Yeah, I haven't. And my kids haven't at school for 3 days straight. And tomorrow's the third in a row school day. So my wife's going a little crazy, but things are good. At least I get to talk about fishing. I have, and I was lucky. I was able to go on that factory tour a couple weeks ago, and so all those videos are coming out here. Launch the Bonafide tour. That went really well. That one's at like 22,000 views, which is crazy for a factory tour. Tomorrow launches the Cash and Rods from start to finish. So they really showed a lot more than maybe they hoped to show. So that one's going to be a real good one. I'm editing the one from Humminbird, and I just finished up and sent over to Yak Attack theirs. So always got to send it over to them. Like, did I pick anything up in this video that might be proprietary that you don't want people knowing about? But it's going to be some bangers coming out from Windle Fishing here a little bit. But you picking them up down there? You fishing any?
Yep. So I'm going out tomorrow. So it was. I don't think it got above freezing until like 3 or 4 o'clock today. So I was in 20 mile-an-hour wind. So I kind of called it on today, but tomorrow I'll be out there.
All right, I like it. I'm excited tonight. We've got Josh in the green room over here. But before we get started, of course, we have to thank the sponsor of the show, which I now just realized I don't have that up in the corner like I usually do. I was using this for shooting another video for K-Fast, and I took that down for a second. But the lure of the week coming out of that one is going to be this guy right here. This is going to be the Blitz Blade bait. What do you mean say put that away? You don't like it?
That's a secret, not so secret bait around here.
I love this thing. VMC hooks, no lead, solid one-piece design, perfect for casting, vertical jigging, man. And so the box, you guys never got one of these, actually came with 2 of them. So I lose them, obviously, because of how you fish them. Yeah. But this is one of the first baits that I'm throwing after ice off up here mid-March in Ohio. So thank you, Dark Horse Tackle, for replenishing my supply.
Yep. Yeah. If they want to send some down here, that video I just put up earlier today, those were all blade bait fish.
Love it. I love it. And you hear that? I'm actually going to see him this week at the Columbus. Josh, speaking of Columbus, welcome to the show, Josh. How you doing, brother?
Good. How's it going, boys?
It's going good. And if I was reading the internet correctly, you were actually prepping to go to the Columbus Expo. Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah, I'm getting stuff packed up the last couple days, and yeah, trying to get prepped to go to the Columbus Expo. So pretty pumped about it. We went last year and dropped our first bait, and it went really well. So looking forward for the encore. So
heck yeah. So it's I could imagine, because I'm watching I follow a bunch of companies. I've been there the last 2 years in a row. I'm going to be there again this year. Obviously, we'll stop by the booth.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually met or talked to you before, and if it did, it was just briefly. But looking forward to stopping by. It's a deal getting prepped for that thing. Like I've been watching Raccoon Creek. They've been working on it like for a week. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's a good show. We've done the East Tennessee show a couple times, and I really enjoyed that show. It's a great show. It's a little smaller, I'd say, than Columbus. Columbus is, I mean, we got a lot of our people in Ohio, man. I don't know what it is about that, like Dayton, Columbus area, but there's a bunch of river rats there, and yeah, we love interacting with them. A lot of guys that followed us from like the very beginning showed up, and yeah, we have a good time. So
got the creek crawler over there. You got
tackle
talk over there.
Yep, Andrew. Yep,
Andrew. Hey, all that fun stuff. Oh man, I love it. Well, I look forward to checking out your booth. For those, and Wade, you're gonna have to help me over here because I'm not paying any attention at all to the comment section. So I'm just kind of in it to win it over here. But for those who aren't familiar yet, what is Achigan Brand Fishing, and what does the word Achigan actually mean to you? Like, where'd that come from? Because I don't know the story. You might have told it a million times, but I don't know it.
Yeah, sure. So we pronounce it Achigan, but I mean, honestly,
Achigan. There we go.
That's the redneck version of a French word. So, we just pronounce it however we think it sounds the best. But that word actually has roots in the Algonquin native language called Ojibwe, and that is the name that the Algonquin Native Americans used to call smallmouth. So they called Achigan, and it translates into one which fights. So for obvious reasons.
Tracks 100%.
Yeah.
Achigan. I mean, how'd you find that? My goodness, that goes
I would not have like my brain would not have gone there, but I started Achigan with two business partners, and one of those guys is actually real fortuitous deal happened where I moved across the street from a guy that ended up being one of my best friends.
Okay.
And he's an ecologist for the state of Indiana. So he's like smarter than I am, very sciencey. And when we were kind of going through the potential names of the company, I wanted to call it Smalley Brand. And he was like, man, let's kind of make it a little more like metaphoric, and started going through some different things. And that's what we landed on. So it's a good conversation piece when, people ask about it. So
how many times do you have to answer that question at a booth over a 3-day period in Columbus?
A lot. The day is going to come when maybe we don't have to explain it all the time. It will be well known enough where people just know what it means. But yeah, for right now, we just have to keep explaining it. So.
Oh, I love it. I would have had to go on AI, like all the different words other than smallmouth, smallies.
Yeah, I'd never said that word prior to starting a company with that name. So,
No. Conversations, Bass AF 817. Conversation starter for sure. I got a comment up here by Metal Jones 3904, which is also owner of Dark Horse Tackle. Chrenko, can we count on you boys to run our booth again if we sleep in? What I need to know the story there.
Those boys showed up late one morning. The last show, I think they had a little bit too much to drink, partied a little bit too hard.
Oh no, I'm staying at their house this time. We got an Airbnb. I'm in trouble.
Yeah, we repurposed a couple of the guys that had come to help us out, and they opened up their booth, and I think they were just selling stuff for whatever price they thought they should sell it for. And then the guys got there and they're like, hey, I hope this is all right. We're selling everything for $5.
Lost his shirt. Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
I know. $5 sale. Tire rack is gone.
It was fun though, man. And we, I got Zach is a good dude, and I think that was the first time I'd actually met him last year. And we had a good time. I've gotten to know him quite a bit. I talked to him pretty frequently. So,
are we going to see a Smalley snack in the Dark Horse Tackle Box anytime soon?
He's been pushing for it. So,
come on.
I think that's the plan. It's one of those things right now. It's hard to produce them fast enough to make enough to sell, and because we're hand pouring each one in our office, and we all have full-time jobs, so it's a tough deal. But we got some manufacturing coming soon, so that's going to help us out a lot. So
Hey, that's nice. All right, so got some questions over here. Full-time job. I like to kind of know the person. A lot of times what people do in the fishing world is just a side hustle, right? We do it because we love it. It's fun. What do you do for a living, and where are you guys located?
Yeah, so we are based out of Greenwood, Indiana, which is just south of Indianapolis. So pretty.
I used to live in Avon.
Yeah, I grew up in Mooresville, so west side, same area. But yeah, so I was born and raised here, and we as far as what I do for a living, I own a medical distribution company. I sell a bunch of boring stuff to hospitals and doctors and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, the Achigan, I would say, is a side hustle, but I didn't start it to be a side hustle. It's going to be my full-time job.
Come on, there we go. I like that mentality.
We're just working towards it. We all have families and kids and stuff, and we're just building it slow. And one day it'll get there sooner rather than later. So,
all right. Well, is there like a projection on a date and time for that?
I have a blood oath that.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
In 2 years, we're going full time. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So,
who's your other business partners? Did you guys do the whole cut your wrists and shake each other's hand type of thing? Did you go all in? You said blood oath. That's all that's going through my mind right now.
Pretty much, drunk handshake, blood oath, whatever. But yeah, so I have I was describing my neighbor. His name's Andrew. He, like I said, he was a day one guy, co-founder, and then next to my brother, my best friend, my brother-in-law, Dustin, those guys are both really talented artists. So all the stuff you see, design wise,
stuff like that.
That's all stuff that they do, and they've gotten a lot better over the years too of just designing and making things look professional and stuff. And I'll talk a little bit about kind of our philosophy and how we do things, but those guys are at the heart of it. They're both really dedicated outdoorsmen and fishermen. So this isn't some person that doesn't have any connection with it making the stuff. The people that are making our stuff, then putting it out, it is from the heart. It's stuff that we're very passionate about. So
yeah, I like it. Wyatt, anything over there in the comment section I should be paying attention to?
I know you touched on that. You touched on that bait a little bit. Are you gonna
full
breakdown on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually share the screen real fast. Give me a second. I have this up.
Yeah,
let's take a.
I remember just hearing whispers of this the first time I went to the Susky. Just kind of hearing this bait, and I'm like, what in the world is it? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's still even wildly confusing when you go to the website because this is all I saw. Bag of Doritos. So I'm like, what's inside? I didn't realize you had to actually scroll up a little bit. And then I finally saw this. So walk us through, what are we looking at here, Josh?
Yeah. So we started off with apparel and with Achigan, and our kind of from a business perspective, we're fishermen only buy so many graphic tees and sun shirts and hats. That's a obviously people enjoy that stuff, but fishermen spend their money on tackle, boats, gear. That's where the majority of the budget goes. So I kind of knew all along apparel was just kind of the start of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to dip our toes into something else that is in that more technical fishing stuff. And really for me, and you guys are probably the same way, I'm out there. I mean, I'm a fish head, dude. That's what I do. I fish as much as I humanly possibly can. And, for me, when I'm out there, I think of things and I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if you could make this, it's like a cross between this bait and that bait, or, some guys tackle craft. I've never been a huge tackle crafter, but I was kind of thinking about hey, I'm a big fluke guy. I throw flukes a lot. That's just one of my go-to presentations. And I throw it on a nose hook rig. If you guys have ever used a fluke like that, where you just basically hook it in the front part of the nose with I use a wacky style finesse hook on them, and the movement is superior to like a Texas rig, specifically because the hinge points at the front, and it really gives it a real erratic movement. And flukes have always been a big producers for me, but I'm like, one, I go through a pack pretty much, every time I go out. Like I'm like cycling through those things. I've launched so many flukes into the woods. It's like, crazy. And the other thing is like, I like throwing big baits. I kind of got used to, one of my favorite smallmouth baits is a mag draft. Like I throw 6-inch mag drafts all the time for them. They produce big fish. So I'm like, what if I could make a cross between a fluke and like a mag draft? And so we started doing some experimenting and got in touch with some people that did 3D design, started getting some prototypes, and basically made a humongous fluke. It's as big of a mag draft, and it's, the design of a fluke, but it's made of silicone, which is, I would say silicone's more durable than like even like Elastec. Like it's pretty freaking durable. There's not a lot of silicone baits out there, like there's a handful. I think
why is that?
Buca Burrito.
Buca Burrito is one. I have the nacho right here. But
why is that?
Well,
any thoughts?
Yeah, because the softness that it takes to make a bait, there is no like established mass manufacturing for silicone with that softness. That softness is, it's like, I mean, I have one right here. I have one just so you guys could see how stretchy that is. And it's really soft. That type of silicone is called platinum cure silicone, and it's a 2-part mixture. And where you get it from, we buy it from people who use it for like Hollywood masks. Like it's like this, like got this real niche sort of application. They use it for more stuff than that, but there's no like machines that produce that soft.
You gotta hand pour it.
Yeah, so we kind of cornered ourselves.
Right.
Because we're like,
hard to scale,
man. We can't. Yeah, we're having a hard time. I had someone overseas that had said they could do it, and we gave a deposit and everything, and then they backed out the last minute. We're kind of not back at square one, but we're working with a different company here domestically. They're actually in Indiana, and they say they can do it. So we're gonna keep plugging away until we find someone. But yeah, it's a big silicone fluke. That's the best way to kind of describe it. So
that's it. And how'd you are there other companies out there that use this platinum? What do you call it? Platinum cure?
Yeah, platinum cure silicone. I think the Buca is like Buca's the burrito's not mass manufactured. Like I've talked with Mike about it, and they're one at a time. They spray, like they paint them. We dye our silicone. So like all that stuff you see is like the color of the actual silicone. So that one up at the top, that rainbow trout one, so that is like a 3-layer pour. It's actually more than that, but you can see like we pour the white, we let it cure. We pour the red, we let it cure. We pour the green, we let it cure. So it's like actually dyed all the way through.
How long is it taking to make one of these things? Just one, I think.
The mold. So like a single layer one, the stuff we have cures in about 2 hours. So we have right now we have I think like 60 molds, something like that, but they're all, so we can make 60 in one pour. We're working on some different manufacturing stuff in-house that will make it like injection molding, which you can do with silicone. That'll help us. Our big thing is now each mold you have to unbolt and like take it out. It's just like very labor intensive. So we have some high school kids doing some of that.
That sounds terrible, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one reason why they're kind of special right now is because there's a lot of love that goes into them. They're like the antithesis of the Walmart bait. This is like you can see some little imperfections in them sometimes and stuff like that, and the colors aren't going to be exactly the same every time because we hand mix everything. So sometimes you might get one that you're like, ooh, this works really well, and you may never get it again, because it's
just
we'll never
hand one of one.
Yes. I use a ton of them myself. dedicated myself to using that this past year and a half to like really see what kind of bait it was, and it freaking catches them, dude. I caught a ton of big smallmouth on them. So.
Can survive 20 plus beat downs. Wow, you can rip through.
Oh yeah,
can
and
hold
probably
that
more
long.
like 30 or 40 of them. Yeah,
it.
I mean, we were being there's a piece of mesh on the nose hook one. There's a piece of mesh on the nose.
Okay, it helps.
So when you hook through it, because the biggest thing isn't tearing it, it's the hole where the hook goes through will get big enough to where when you launch it
flops out.
So that mesh will catch the barb, so it like won't let it do that essentially, and that's how it ends up lasting really long. But then we have a belly slot one too that you can put like a swim bait hook in as well. So
is that what it says there?
Yeah, we use a 6/0 hook, and I like the BKK one. I can't remember what the name of it is, but yeah, the screw locks are kind of hard for silicone because it's so stretchy. But silicone's cool, man. I mean, it has all the properties of TPE, like that Elastec, but it doesn't react with anything, right? So like, it's not going to like, it's not going to melt an entire bag of baits. If you put the wrong kind of plastic in there, it never loses form. So like, traditional stuff, if you put it in a bag and it's folded in half, you'll take it out, and the bait's just ruined. Silicone won't do that. Like it is, it's heat resistant up to like 500 degrees. So it's just a cool material, and I don't know how long we'll end up working with it, just from a longevity standpoint,
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of our little niche right now.
Yeah, so, I like it. So is that 30? Are they $30 a pop, or is there like a pack?
There's 2 of them, so you get 2 of them. Yeah, 2 of them for $30. Yeah,
not bad.
And the nose hook ones, I would say nose hook ones come with hooks. Because it takes a 4/0, we put VMCs in there, and then it also has a little molded in cavity on the belly. It comes with 2 tungsten nail weights that you can shove up in there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I like to do that when we were testing it. If you don't have that, it wants to fall on its side. This helps it fall vertically. So
I like it.
We
have a smorgasbord of comments over here. White, I'm gonna go over here. You start a bunch.
They're just starring every single.
let's rip through. A lot of them are really good questions. This is what I love about having a live show. I mean, everyone who shows up, they usually come with questions, and we always spend time.
I think the most important one I saw is, where do you buy mannequins with the stash on them?
You buy the regular mannequin and you use a Sharpie to put a mustache on. That we call that guy Mustache again. So that's his name.
I like it. Yeah. Jake Cook over here says, this bait sucks on the Susky. Don't throw it unless you want to catch your PB over and over. It's honestly a great bait. Feather Outdoors, 5-inch mag draft freestyles, caught my biggest small jaw yet. I love it. Elise, that nose is so durable. Josh, what is your PB? I'm going to say it wrong. It's not Achigan.
Achigan.
Yeah.
It's a hard CH.
Yeah.
That's all good. Personal best I caught in February of last year. So it was
recent.
Into winter. Yeah, 22 1/4 inch.
That's where the quest for 23 comes from.
Yeah.
All that.
When that one hit the net, that was the first smallmouth I had caught that I was like, maybe. I was like, maybe. I looked at my buddy Chris and I was like, dude, is this? And he's like, it might be, dude. It might be. So it was a different looking fish for sure. So
I can only imagine. Of course, did you catch it on your munchie?
No, we were dragging baits. I mean, it was like 35, 36 degree water.
Okay.
So yeah, I caught it on a little Goby Z. So if you guys ever use those, the Z-Man, they're like a tiny little, like, I think they're like 1 3/4 Goby swim bait. So
I love the Gobius for smallies. My gosh, that thing destroys over here.
Gobies are great. They're quite a bit bigger than the Goby Zs. but that little goby Z is good for like super finesse. Like if you're just like, I mean, you catch them in the wintertime like that, they have mud under their bellies a lot of times. So you're just like really coaxing them into biting. So.
Wow. That's wild. Michael Bradley had a question over here. You might have answered. Is it buoyant or does it sink?
Silicone sinks, but
Like a
not
slow sink?
Yeah, definitely slow sink. I like to sink a little bit faster than it does naturally. That's why we have that little tungsten weight in it. So it helps center the bait and it helps it sink a little bit faster. But it sinks probably similar to like a fluke, you know? So,
Okay. Solid. Why, you see anything over there in the comment section I missed?
I was about to say, those are steel for $30 for two of them with hooks and weights and everything. It's like, I know the only silicone thing I have to compare it to is the burrito and stuff like that, and those things are $45 for one.
Swim baits are crazy, dude. Those guys are wild.
So like,
yeah.
what do you fishing that thing on normally?
As far as like rod and reel.
Yeah, that was one of the questions.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so I have a couple different setups. For the nose hook one, I do like to use spinning gear just because I like to skip them a lot, and that's the most effective way to skip it. But it's a big bait, so I got a setup specifically for that, and I have a 7.2 medium heavy X Pride on a 3000 Vanford. So that's like my power spinning setup. So yeah, I throw it on that, and then I'll throw it on like a medium heavy 7-foot casting, just medium on the belly slot one. So it's nothing crazy, just kind of a general purpose thing. So yeah.
What's your most, like, what's the color everyone keeps coming back for? People are like wearing you out. They're wearing you out.
Not that Bass is going to Susky this year or anything, but
yeah, you guys will love the name of this color. Our most popular color is called Gizzard. So
Jeez.
You can imagine what, it's like a translucent white color. So
that's it.
So yeah, we sell a ton of those. We'll have a bunch of those at Columbus too. So
will you sell out of them? You've done enough of these shows to know that either you made enough or you're like, hey, I came up short and I just know there's going to be wiped out. Because this show in Columbus is absolutely nuts, by the way. If you guys haven't been to Columbus on Saturday, it's insanity. Like you can barely walk through the aisles. It's that many people.
I hope we do well, man. I mean, I don't go into it with any expectations. I go there just to have fun, talk to people. If we sell a bunch of stuff, great. I like more than anything just meeting the people that I see on social media. I mean, I love social media, but I also hate it because it's like fake relationships. You like feel like you're friends with somebody, but like, yeah, I've never actually met them. So those shows get you a chance to like actually meet people. That's one reason that's really one of the only reasons I fish tournaments, because you just get to meet, the people that you have like-mindedness with. So
yeah, I like it. All right, we're gonna switch some gears here, ask some different type of questions here. This one comes from me. I was thinking about today. What's the most rewarding part of building Achigan so far? Nailed it, by the way. And what's been the hardest?
Man, gosh, the most rewarding was probably last year at the Columbus show. And
waking up the guys from Dark Horse Tackle.
No, not that.
So they didn't go out of business for selling lures for $1. Yeah.
No, so the story is the show opens on Friday at noon, and we get there, and I didn't realize there was some kind of, you could buy like a VIP thing and get there early. So we get there, there's some construction or something going on at the expo, and I couldn't find the entrance to save my life. So we end up getting there way too late, and we'd already dropped stuff off the night before, and so we had planned to just hang stuff up or whatever. Well, we get there, and within 20 minutes, there's people standing in line waiting to buy the munchie. And I was beside myself, just freaking out, trying to hang up the shirts and get our iPads on and all that stuff. And there was a girl, I think she was maybe 10, 11 years old. And she had one of our sweatshirts on, and she was standing there with her dad. And her dad like was like, hey, he like pulled me aside. He's like, hey man, just wanted to let you know my daughter, she like follows you guys on social media and she's like loves smallmouth fishing. And he's like, she thinks it's so cool to be able to meet you. And she's like, she begged me to let her skip school to come here to buy the munchie. And so we were like, so we were like, holy crap, that's like, super cool that, I had no idea who they were or whatever. And so we ended up meeting her and taking a picture with her. I think she bought the actual first pack of those. And the next like month, we ended up naming a color after I texted her dad and she's like, oh, she likes purple and white. So we named it. Her name is Mia. We named it MIA because she skipped school. She's MIA from school, and did a purple and white munchie. So it was pretty cool.
That is pretty rad. So that was your high. What's the hardest part of starting a business nowadays? Yeah, how long has it been going? Like, how long has Achigan been running? When did you start this?
We launched in August of 2021, so we're in our 5th year this year.
Okay.
So
you're like COVID. You're like, hey, let's start a business.
Yeah, it was pretty bad to start a business.
I don't know, right? I mean, I started my YouTube channel 5 years ago, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things starting. It's like I had this. So I host a podcast, Smalley Talk, if you guys listen to it or whatever. And like I'd always known I was gonna like do something with our like audience and like start a business for smallmouth. And I was kind of like, dude, I'm like, I just turned 40 and I'm like, I'm not getting any younger. If I'm going to do something like this, I'm just going to do it, and if it fails, so what, and that's kind of the like mentality I have in life anyways. Just like, hey, just go for it. And, but yeah, as far as like the low, I don't know, man. I mean, probably just the grind, just like people don't realize like when you are doing something like this, I mean, you guys know, like as content creators, the amount of time and effort you put into doing this stuff is like when nobody's looking at you is like an ungodly amount, and you have, wives and kids and stuff that are like making sacrifices so you can do this stuff. And I mean, I haven't paid myself a dime from Achigan, just so you guys know, like we're rolling everything back in the business. So this isn't the thing for me is like build it up to where I can, comfortably pay myself. So I would say just like the countless hours, just being in the office, like, pouring baits at 1 o'clock in the morning and packaging stuff. And like, that's the tough part of it. But it's also enjoyable because you're doing it for yourself. So
yeah, no, I hear you. And that was the moment it flipped for me. I was 38. No, yeah, I was 38. I was like, you know what? I've gone all in and made, nonprofits a ton of money. I was like, I have to at least go in all in Darren Wendell once in my life, or I'm going to regret it. I know I will. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Put together the plan. Like, then you start talking like you're talking, Josh. It's like it's going to happen. I'm planning for it. It's not if, it's just when I'm going to pull that trigger. And so it's one of those, when I hear people talking like that, I know they're going to actually do it. Not if I can, build up a nest egg, or if I can do this, or if they're like, yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen in 2 years. Sometimes sooner, sometimes later, but I can tell. I've been had a lot of these conversations over the years. So congratulations on your future success there. When someone, and this kind of goes back to your philosophy question that you kind of talked about with your team. But when someone wears Achigan like gear, what do you hope it says about them as an angler?
Dude, I mean, honestly, I just hope that, they think it's cool. So I, hope that they wear it with pride. But I think the people that wear Achigan at this point, because we don't do any advertising and the people that hear about us is all through word of mouth, I think they love smallmouth fishing. And like that, it's kind of like that badge of honor. You like see somebody with one of those, you're like, hey, yeah, you're a smallmouth guy. That's which is the same difference when the kayak community is, which I'm obviously into kayak fishing as well. And like, that is like when you see somebody with the KBF stickers,
Yep.
you know, or a Hobie on the top of their truck or something, you know, you're just like, hey, you know, and because you don't see it every day. This isn't something you like see every day. So when you see it, it's cool. It's like, hey, that's one of my people. So
Yep. No, I like it. I like it a lot. Do you think smallmouth anglers tend to be wired a little bit differently than largemouth anglers? Because like a lot of times finding a smallmouth, like I said it in the monologue, I feel like you have to earn it a little bit more, right? It's a little extra work a lot of times to get on the smallmouth bite. You got to go to the river. You got to plan. You got to do the float. You got to find another person, or you got to motor up, and it just takes. I feel like versus just going to the lake, dropping your kayak in, you can cast within seconds. So
yeah, I mean, I grew up largemouth fishing, so like I have an appreciation for. I mean, all this stuff when I joke about throwing largemouth up on the bank and stuff, obviously that's like tongue in cheek. I don't actually think that, but you know, I love fishing in general. I mean, honestly, I'll catch a bluegill. Like I just like the one being out there, and two, I just like fishing, you know, whatever. But smallmouth are for me are like this. There's just something about them, man, and I don't know what it is. Like, it is the fight, you know. That is a lot of it. A lot of it's where they're found at. I'm a river guy because we don't really have smallmouth lakes in Indiana,
right.
and like I tend to fish more rivers, and that to me is like that's kind of where kayaks should be. You know, it's like you kind of need a kayak to get on the river. But I mean, that traditional smallmouth fishing is usually done in 40 foot of water. So it's like, it's not, you know, it's not necessarily just that. I don't know, man. They're just a cool fish. They're native. They're native to the Mississippi River. So you all right there, bud?
Gosh, sorry, everyone's got to listen to me choking over here.
Go down the wrong pipe.
My eyes are watering. Wow, that was.
Yeah,
something.
I mean, I don't know what it is, man. It's just like smallmouth are like they're a native fish, and like when you catch them in a river, like those things have been there for thousands of years. Like it's just a cool. It's like a connection to nature to me, and they just look cool. I mean, if you get one that's all spotted up and stuff, I mean, they just. Don't get me wrong. I've caught some largemouth that are super pretty and you know have like real distinct markings, but yeah, man, I don't know. I have some kind of like. And this is gonna sound kooky, but I have some kind of like spiritual universe connection to smallmouth because I have some like weird stuff that's happening to me small. I caught an orange smallmouth. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I went ultra viral. I think it was like 3 years ago. I caught
like Titan Gold largemouth, right?
It looked like it was a xanthistic smallmouth, and it looked like a goldfish
on this podcast. No big words.
It had
down for us.
It's a 1 in a million smallmouth. So
wow.
I mean, it's a 1 in a million smallmouth that I caught, and yeah, it was crazy looking. I don't know, man. I just fell in love with smallmouth like as an like really young adult, and I've been obsessed with it ever since. And yeah, man, there's something about them. I don't know. So
fun fact, fun story. I actually know where there's a golden bass. Like I saw it, and it's in a small pond in an area. Actually, a lot of people fish, but I saw the stupid thing, and it wouldn't bite. And I tried.
Hard to miss.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh my gosh, he came up and he went right back down. You got to be kidding me! It's not that big a pond. If I could catch that thing, that would be, like you said, once in a lifetime. Probably won't do it again. We have 60 live. If you have not yet done so, please hit that like button. Of course, we are streaming on Facebook and 6 different YouTube channels and Instagram and all over the place. So I maxed out the amount of places I actually can send this thing. So if you got a question for Josh or got a question for Wyatt, go ahead and throw that in the comment section. We got Chad who over here said Darren saw a koi and thinks it was a golden bass. Oh my gosh,
dude! I tell you what, that smallmouth was like it was. I wish you could probably pull up just by like Googling my name because it was in Outdoor Life. It was in all kinds of magazines and stuff. Yeah, but I'm like shocked that it lived to be. It was like 14 inches. I was like, dude, how in the world? There's muskie in this river. I was like,
Yeah.
how did this fish like survive that long? Shows you how scrappy smallmouth are. So
Right.
I think it's a badass smallmouth
Yeah, it
if
is.
it lived to be that long, you know.
You got them in the river. Love it.
Yeah.
I gotta go find that now. I wish I would have known. I should have brought it. I guess I should have did better research before I had you on the show.
It was on the
On me.
Muskegon River in Michigan. So
Okay.
yeah.
I love it. Chat says it's more than 1 in a million. It's literally probably closer to like 1 in 100 million. That's crazy. Likely won't do it again in your lifetime. So
On a buzzbait.
Really came up, nailed it.
I mean, first fish of the day, too.
You just go home. You just go home after that, right?
It was crazy. I was with my brother. We were staying in a house with our family on the river, and it was in my jet boat. I like went out and like it wasn't first cast, but first fish came up and ate it, and I was like, "What the hell was that?" I was like, I was thinking it was some kind of trout or something because there's it's connected to Lake Michigan, so like there's all kinds of lake run fish in there, and I was like, "Oh, this is some kind of trout that I don't know about." And I get up and I was like, "Holy shit, this is a smallmouth!" Crazy, but yeah.
Well, congratulations. That is
wow,
life goal, right, Wyatt?
Yeah, that's wild.
So I see a Wildy Systems sign behind you. Is that what you're still running, or you just have that on the wall? So share. This is the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. Always love to share the rigs. Actually, what I'd love to do is actually share the evolution of the rigs, like what you had first and what you kind of rip through. Because as we get more and more into kayak fishing, we have a tendency to collect them. So walk us through what that looks like for you.
Yeah, I have I don't know. I think I have like 7 kayaks right now in my backyard.
Right.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
So, and I still have my first one that I ever bought. I had a like an aluminum, like a bass tracker through high school. I fished like Wednesday night tournaments out of it and stuff. And I fished Fisher's Men, if you guys are familiar with it's like a tournament trail. Fished with my dad, and got married, and you know, I don't even know what made me sell the boat. I was like needed space in my garage, and I was like, man, I haven't, been using that thing very much. So I sold the boat, and I got a kayak as like, well, I still want to be able to get out there. And it was a Dick's Sporting Goods, it's the green, I call it Old Greenie, but it was like a sit inside, just like $300 special. And I remember the first time I like to camp too. I'm like hike, camp, hunt. I do all that stuff. And me and my brother-in-law, the guy that started cheating with me, we did a 40-mile trip, 3-day, 40-mile trip in those
that
things.
Is some long days, brother.
Yeah. It was before I understood. Oh, and it was like a lake, dude. It was in the middle of the summer.
You were going from sun up into the night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We got a workout for sure. We ended up filtering water through our socks and then boiling it. We ran out of water the first day. Yeah.
I would take the risk before I ran water through my socks.
Well, I mean, we would take it out of the river and we were going to boil it and then drink it. But then it had all kinds of crusties in it. So I'm like, we got to get this stuff. So we were pouring it through our sock.
Not your shirt. Not your shirt. No, just your sock.
I guess you can tell I'm not that intelligent here. I'm using my sock instead of my shirt. But so we did a 40-mile trip. It was miserable. It was the best can of soda I've ever had in my life when we got done with that trip. So that was a little whatever it was, an 8-foot sit inside. And I definitely I caught a lot of fish in that thing. But then I was, pretty quick. I was like, I need to get something real. And this is right when fishing kayaks were kind of starting to come around, where it was actually purpose built fishing kayaks. And the first one I have is a Jackson Cuda 12. Okay. So
you still have
that? I don't have that. I got rid of that. But that, I camped and stuff and had huge hatches, and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And then you figure out, it's you can't stand up in that thing. That thing is not a stand-up friendly kayak. So I think I went from that to the Wilderness Systems Ride 115, which I still have that. I love that kayak. It's a sick kayak. and I had that. I had a feel free for a while. Like I can't remember what the model it is. I had the seat that ratcheted up and down. It was a cool kayak. And then I got on the Wilderness Systems team. So I was on that team I think I'm still like an ambassador or something, but I was like, yeah, no joke. Yeah, but that was back when they give you like a free boat every year, and then you get like 3 other ones at cost and sell them. Like it was a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
and
that sounds a good deal.
Yeah, so I cycled through a bunch. I still have the TAC 120. I liked that boat. It was a nice boat.
Yeah.
I didn't really get into the motorized thing because I fish rivers and I didn't really see a lot of. And back then, torpedoes were what, $3-4 grand, and lithiums were really expensive, and
Sure.
So I ended up getting into inflatables because I'm buddies with Jeff Little.
Yep.
And Jeff's like, he's all about those
Mr. Inflatable, man.
Yeah.
You don't even fish anything other inflatables now.
I tell you what, dude, I got that Hobie iTrek, dude. I've caught
Is that the new one they came out with?
I've had this one for years now.
Okay, never mind. It was the one that came out before the one that they have now. Yeah.
Well, they they had an original one that was different, and then I got the one that was like teal and neon yellow and gray. That one, dude, I have probably 30 patches on it. Like I've beat the absolute crap out of that thing.
30? You're running it through.
Oh, well, you know how those things that boat, it's Achilles heel is it's just thin. Like it doesn't they didn't do a great job of making it thick, but fish fins will puncture it. Like small, like you
I've
won't
heard
even
catfish
notice them.
fins puncturing it, but
no,
it was so thin that smallmouth are puncturing it. All right.
Yeah, so like if you let it, I've learned you can't let the fish flop on your deck. Like you just can't do it. Which in a tournament, it's kind of hard to do.
Sure.
But that's a different story. But yeah, I got into that, man. I still use that all the time because it weighs 30 pounds and it has the Hobie drive on it. And it's like, dude, I have a 4-runner. I can just throw it on top of that thing and put a couple straps on it. And I fished a ton of tournaments at it. I did get into the motorized game. I currently use an Osprey 1436, the Innovative Sportsman inflatable. And that thing for rivers is pretty sick. Like it's nice. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. And motors, you guys know they changed the game. You can, just do a whole bunch of. It opens up a whole new thing for you.
I love it. You don't have to actually before. If you wanted to do a river float, you have to have 2 people with motors. You're like, I don't need anybody. I'm just gonna go take my torpedo, run up river, and then float back down. So I'm looking forward to that this upcoming season. So you don't run any hard plastic. You're just inflatable right now on the river.
Yeah, I probably won't ever go back. Honestly, like if I was fishing lakes, I'd probably just buy a boat if I was gonna fish a huge lake, because I do want to get into the Great Lakes a little bit, start doing some more of that. But yeah, rivers wise, dude, an inflatable. I don't see any point in going back. The way they sit on top of the water and current. Really, the biggest deal is like current can't grab the hull. Like when you're in a plastic boat, you have a keel, and if you get in sideways in any current, it just wants to rip you sideways downstream. An inflatable, you can turn sideways, and then the current just goes underneath of it. So it's just so much more maneuverable and current. And yeah, man, that's a cheat code, honestly. So.
All right. So, yeah. Well, guys, if you have a question for Josh or Wyatt or myself, go and throw that down in the comment section. We're still running 50 to 60 live right now. And I have some people coming in from Australia earlier. I think we have a bot from Japan, just throwing every brand known imaginable coming out of Japan. So I'm not going to pay attention to that. Just let them continue doing what they do, I guess.
Comments here for it.
Yeah, right. Japan fishing. I could get rid of them. I'm just gonna leave them there just for entertainment at this point. All right. So we talked about your kayaks, kind of talked about
you running
philosophy.
electronics on the inflatable?
Oh yeah, there we go.
I don't, man. I mean, I don't really see a point in
don't need it in
running
the rivers, but,
electronics. Yeah. I mean,
Once you go to
like I run them on my jet boat because in the wintertime, like in springtime, like water temperature is important, but I have on my kayak, I just carry a little meat thermometer. That's how I like figure out what the temperature of the water is. I use side scan some on my jet, but it's not like, I don't know, like when I'm winter fishing, it does help some, but like the problem with the rivers I fish, there's so much gravel on the bottom. It's really hard to tell like what's a fish and what's a rock down there. And I feel like live scope would probably do well in those scenarios. And I probably will start dabbling in that. It'd only be in the wintertime. But yeah, that's what I love about river fishing though, is just pretty instinctual. It's kind of a level playing field because you can't go get them out and go scope them deep. You're pretty much like, you have to fish for them like, like shallow, like everybody else would. So yeah.
We've got a couple questions here. Head over here. We got 2 of them.
Yep.
Josh, what's the number 1 thing you target on the river? Beaver dams, laydowns, foam, schemes, eddies, shoals. What are we looking at here?
The back part of the pool is a secret.
All of them. Yeah, right.
I would say that so the 2 things in rivers that matter the most are current and substrate. And if you can figure out where those fish are related to current and substrate, and it changes throughout the seasons, it's like you want different types of current and different types of substrate depending on when you're fishing. But yeah,
peel back the onion for us on that.
What's that?
Substrate. Peel back the onion, like for those.
Yeah, just like the bottom. Like, what does the bottom look like? Like, if there's a bunch of gravel, and then it changes over to more like a chunk rock where crawfish, can get up under. Like, that's where those fish will be. And like a lot of the rivers I fish will have like a lot of silted in areas where there's like agriculture and stuff. And then you'll find some like good looking rock bottom. Like that's like what you go fish for. What I like to fish for is I like to fish current. Like that's like where it's the most fun, or you're fishing like whitewater type stuff. But yeah, I mean, I target wherever the fish are, and that does change quite a bit. I mean, river fish migrate pretty far. Like you'll find them in completely different places depending on whether it's spring, summer, fall. So fall and winter are most predictable for sure. You can usually figure out.
We'll start breaking it down for us a little bit. We're all coming up to ice off here in the spring, March, April. What should we be expecting? What should we be looking out for? How do they act differently for you, in your opinion? What's going on there?
Yeah, springtime is pre-spawn's my favorite, like just because you're coming out of this freaking weather that we got right now, and it's like seasonal depression, and you just want to, catch a fish. And but I mean, those fish, you kind of look at it, it's the opposite of fall. So fall, they're feeding up because they're getting ready to winter up, and they're getting ready to, basically hunker down for the whole season. So they have to get fat to survive the winter. Spring, they're coming out of that. They're depleted because they haven't, used a lot of their, they've used a lot of their reserves up, and they got to spawn. So that's a really like labor intensive, energy intensive thing for them. So that's when, they start feeding up in the pre-spawn. That's what they're doing. And as far as like where you find them, I mean, they're in winter holes right now, which is, the way to describe a winter hole in a river is just like a place of refuge from current. They want to expend the least amount of energy as possible. So they're going to be in deeper, slower areas where when the river gets blown out, they have somewhere to go that's like protection. So like right now, a lot of our rivers are low. So they kind of spread out, but they'll be like in the middle of these pools and stuff. And then whenever springtime hits, if you know where those winter spots are at, they start to move out to the outer edges of them. you have like a push water, and then you have the bottom of the pool where the current starts to pick up. You can catch them on a jerk bait for, a week or two in those areas. And then they start going towards spawning areas, which that's where you can, in the spring, you can target them by in between somewhere, a winter hole and a spawning area. And then also like finding like warmer water. So they're looking for a little bit warmer water. And a lot of times that's creek mouths. It's a really good place to go search for them in the spring. So if you have any tributaries that dump in, like fish the mouth of them with a jerk bait, and you can catch fish doing that. And then from there, man, they really like springtime. You can kind of catch them anywhere, but it is going to be more in that, like, you're not going to get super fast water. You're not going to find them in like the raging stuff. That's the summertime thing. But like kind of the intermediate flow and close to spawning areas, and they'll get closer and closer to the spawning areas the closer it gets to when they spawn. So
yeah. Oh man, I like it. Wyatt, any thoughts there?
I've got so little experience with these river smallmouth and everything.
We're back to back weeks
on here.
We're back to back weeks because they spawn in colder water than largemouth do, right? That's my understanding. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think they, I think it depends on what part of the country you're in. Midwest, I feel like it's pretty much like it is like in the middle. Because I fish for them everywhere. Like my favorite place to fish for smallmouth is like up north, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan. Like that's like smallmouth mecca to me, and they spawn later up there. Here they spawn usually like late April, early May, and that's somewhere in the like mid to high 50s. That's when you start getting that 57, 58 degree water. They'll start moving on. You'll see them move on beds. But a lot of that just depends on around here. It's like the springtime's so volatile, you'll get flooding. So you get high water scenarios that'll push them off beds, or a cold front will come through. You guys know how that goes. It'll be like 30 degrees out for like 3 or 4 days. That'll push them off beds, and then it'll warm up and they come back on. So sometime in that, that like mid to high 50s to low 60s, that's like spawn. But there's different, usually multiple waves of spawn. The big fish will spawn first. So big fish are always the ones that'll move first. So you'll, go out there and, when you think they're not on the beds, I've seen huge fish on the beds, like when they're not supposed to be there. Like, oh yeah, it's like the end of March and I'm seeing bedding activity. Well, it's that first wave of fish, and then you have a second and third waves depending on flooding and stuff. But yeah, it's a fun time. I'm not a huge bed guy. I've caught plenty of smallmouth off beds, so
sure.
I'm not ashamed to do it.
You're just not targeting that.
Yeah, it is like taking candy from a baby, and it's like at some point you're like, yeah, I feel kind of bad doing this. It's not largemouths. They're like stingy on their bed. You got to throw at them for hours sometimes before you'll get them to hit, and even sometimes they won't. On a bed, they just won't eat. Smallmouth, you put a net rig on their bed, and they'll eat it pretty fast. Like there's not much challenge to it. So,
I like it. Thanks to Stinky River Tom, became a member tonight of the Wendell Fishing channel. Thank you guys. Just helping the dream stay alive just a little bit longer. It does cost a bunch of money to keep these stream yards and all this stuff rocking and rolling. So thank you for your support. Stinky River Tom, interested in that, head over to, I think you can do it on YouTube. You can come, there's like 4 different members, offer a bunch of different things, early access and some stuff. So thank you, Stinky River. All right. Here's a question I have for you. I know you're friends with Jeff Little. I know Jeff's stance on a lot of safety stuff. I, myself, and Chad Hoover are getting ready, really close to launching kayak fishing advanced safety training. We're going to have a basic certification and advanced certification. And then we're going to have actually Jeff Little teaching our river safety course because he's the man. So especially when you're fishing these early, you live like same areas, right? It's freaking cold. Ice off happens for me like mid-March. And so what is going through your mind when it comes to safety? And not only that, you have, of course, you have just all the hazards that rivers bring. So for someone who's like, hey, I want to go, I'm jacked up. I heard Josh Chrenko on the KFO show. I'm going to get out there in the cold. I'm going to catch him in those, those 50, 60-degree waters. What would you advise somebody in that moment?
Yeah.
Or close calls you've had, or close calls also, like what stories you have of other people. Just help break that down for somebody who's excited about this.
Well, I mean, I'll start off by saying, as like people don't realize, kayak fishing is dangerous. Like it is dangerous. Like it kind of lulls you to sleep a little bit because you're like on this big, these kayaks an hour. You can stand up and walk around on them and stuff, and it takes one mistake and it can end your life. Like it really can. And even if you're doing some things right, wearing a PFD, all that stuff, nature's unforgiving. You can get swept. I mean, I've been out of the river thousands and thousands of times, and man, you can find yourself real quick having a lot of respect for moving water and the obstacles in the river, and find yourself out of control fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're inexperienced, I would suggest not going out until the water's a little bit warmer, because you're just adding another element of danger by going when it's really cold. And if you do go when it's cold, you probably should have a dry suit on. Obviously it goes without saying, don't ever go out without your PFD, but I think that's pretty ubiquitous among anglers nowadays, besides, some guys that,
You'd be surprised. Every time I post something on it, my gosh, you got 10% of people like, don't tell me how to freedom.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the kayak community is ubiquitous on it. The guys I think that speak up that are like I don't know that they're the guys out there fishing kayak terms. I think those are mainly like, fishermen, but guys that, traditionally are bank fishing or boat fishing, and they don't feel the need to wear them. But, staying safe is, I mean, I have countless situations. I've know people that have died on the river. Like it all it takes is one strainer, to get you tied up in, and you're a goner. So you have to have your head on the swivel. You have to really be paying attention to what you're doing. If you have a cold water immersion event, like you have minutes before you can start to have signs of hypothermia. And that's like really, really important that for me, I don't have a dry suit. I have like a dry top and waders, and I try to practice safety with that. I also don't got my kayak a ton in the wintertime. I typically am out my jet boat more, but I always have a dry bag with dry clothes, some kindling, a lighter, like a way to start a fire real quick, especially if I'm out like far away from my vehicle. Like you can get into a bad situation really fast. So practicing safety it's a thing that I think, like when I was young, I thought I was invincible.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not, nothing is gonna happen to me, but like I've seen it happen. I've seen it take a turn. I've seen friends, family. I mean, I had to me and my brother rescued a lady that was caught in a strainer from a.
Yeah, tell us.
It was
a couple stories.
Yeah, so this one was these ladies. We're gonna call them senior citizens. They had no business being out on this river, but they were on like a tube, like the like float tube, inner tube things, and there's like 4 of them in it, and they got swept over into this tree that, dude, it was sketchy. Like the lady was clinging on to a branch, and it was like it was bad, and I ended up like jamming my kayak up in this tree and like climbing out on this like sheer embankment. I mean, it was washed out. It was straight up. So there's really nowhere to walk. So I was like climbing out on this tree, and my brother's a firefighter, kind of has a little bit of that rescue mentality in them. And we ended up teaming up and getting this lady out of there. And she was like, she's in rough shape, man. She couldn't walk. Like it was pretty bad. But I mean, it doesn't, like, as far as stories go, yeah. I mean, I've gotten sucked into strainers multiple times and flipped my kayak upside down. And it's like, you're fishing, so you're multitasking. You're looking around, you're turned backwards, you're fishing, upstream and stuff. And then next thing you turn around, it's like, bam, there's a tree right there. And you're just like, get into it. Not to mention, we all have thousands of dollars in gear in our kayaks. So we're like, that's the first thing I think of. I'm like, oh my God, that rod's $300. I can see it sinking down the bottom of the river. So like, that practically speaking, you don't want to lose a bunch of money. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's especially on a river, man. You got the current is this added variable that's just, you're on a conveyor belt, and if you're not watching where you're going, man, you'll just get pushed into whatever the river decides to push you into. So
it is wild how fast it happens. I was fishing with a guy down the Mad River in Ohio, having a good time, and a tree had recently fallen down. It V'd, and so the water was all pushed over to maybe a quarter of the river, and it was going over one of the V's, so I can get through there on my Sun Dolphin. But he came through, and I was like, I thought he was just going to go the same route I did, and I turned around and looked at it, and I turned around right at the moment where he was starting to turn. He missed it, and he started to turn sideways, and it started to suck him down, and then it pinned his kayak against it. And luckily, he was able to get out. But I was like, my goodness, the wrong person, even with a PFD on, that pressure could have easily pinned him under, right? And people underestimate the force of just what 3 or 4 feet of water can do when you're forcing it through a small area. And so it is wild.
Oh yeah. I've been in situations where I've like had my kayak get sideways, and I'm like trying to hold it, and like the force of the river's pushing it. I'm like, it's amazing how strong that is. Like, it's like, you
can't overpower it, by the way. If you think you can't.
No, there's not. Yeah. It's a really quick reality check. You're just like, yeah, this thing will absolutely just manhandle you and put you wherever it wants you. So
couple last questions here. We're going to land this plane 63 live. Hit that like button if you have not yet done so. We're going to get a bit tactical here in a second, but what are the Smalley games? I saw this up on the website.
Yeah, Smalley games is it's a season-long board game that we run for smallmouth guys, and we're going to do it a little bit different this year. I haven't really talked about that at all, so you get a little exclusive here on this podcast.
You made it 1 hour and 10 minutes into the podcast. You get the juice.
Yeah, so essentially the way we've run it historically is we ship out a game board. You like buy a starter kit, and it comes with a game board and an identifier sticker. And essentially the idea is you catch smallmouth throughout the season, and you upload pictures of those just like you would in a tournament to our website. And then you get different game pieces depending on how long the fish is. So like an 18, we would get an 18-inch game piece, and you basically try to beat the game by using those game pieces and put them on your board. And some years we do it where it's like fill in spaces. Other ones, it's more like a Chutes and Ladders where you have like a pack. And and then if you beat it, we make it challenging. If you beat it, you become a bronze master, and we usually will do like a custom hat with their name on it. And then we'll do, I do like a little trophy thing for them. One year I got like customized lures, like hand painted lures. So yeah, it's a fun thing that we do. It's very labor intensive.
It sounds wildly labor intensive.
Yeah.
Get a board
A lot of putting stickers in envelopes and mailing them out. This year we're going to do it a little bit different. It's cool. I mean, for me, I'm like, hey, I want to like, I like to fish tournaments. I fish, 3 or 4 big tournaments every year, but I'm more of a trophy guy. That's just what I like to like I like to try to catch the big smallmouth, and that's kind of for guys who aren't necessarily tournament guys who like to, kind of keep track of their catches and have some kind of accomplishment at the end of the year. So
Yeah. No, I like
yeah.
it. I like it. Well, one last question for you, and then we'll wrap this party up. Let's go tactical a little bit. When it comes to lures that you love throwing for smallies, obviously outside of the ones that you stay up till 1:00 in the morning, hand pouring. What are your other top 5? You're like, hey, you know what? If I'm not throwing the ones that I'm fishing, these are the ones, my usual go-tos.
Sure. Well, I already talked about one as a mag draft. I mean,
6
and
inch,
I actually don't throw the actual mag draft as much anymore. I throw I actually pour my own. I actually have one right here. This is a AI angling. I don't know, they make a molds, and I pour this out of silicone so it lasts a
there
ton.
You go.
But it's the E6, so it's kind of their like yeah. It has a little bit different movement, it has a wider wobble to it. It does better in current. Like I really like it. So big swim bait though. I say that's I'm not a huge glide guy yet, but I am dabbling in them. But that a fluke's always up there. Nose hook fluke. I always have one tied on. I'm a big fan of like a finesse buzzbait. I throw a finesse buzzbait a lot for smallmouth.
Okay.
So usually like the ones I throw are
I freaking love a top water bite for smallmouth. Yeah. It's insane. Okay.
Yeah. So this is an 1/8 ounce. It's a baby buzzbait, so you can get them on Tackle Warehouse. And I usually put a little paddle tail on the back. They eat it like a bug, especially in clear water. They'll come up and just yep. So that's always yeah, exactly. It's not. It generally do not crush it. It's like a sip eat. And then smallmouth eat bugs way more than you would think. Like pretty fun. Always dirty water. I'm throwing, chatterbait. That's proven, small.
Any favorite chatterbait? You got like the minis? Are you size down, or you just throw regular size?
No, I throw you throw a 1/2 ounce jackhammer. That's like usually what I like throwing. Yeah, I won one of Drew's his Kayak Adventure Series tournaments on chatterbaits this past summer, and like I was throwing a chatterbait until my head exploded, man, because it was like dirty water's perfect situation for it, and I was just like
they're just munching.
Yeah, for sure. So we got buzzbait, fluke, mag draft, chatterbait. If I had to pick one other lure, man, I don't know. Probably just a Colorado blade spinnerbait. Like I throw that a lot. Single Colorado blade. I do throw a bigger one, like a 1/2 ounce. I don't throw small stuff very much. Like I throw
except when you catch your 22 3/4.
Yeah. Well, in the wintertime. Yeah, I size down in the wintertime. Yeah, that's the one time that I really do size down is in the winter. But I mean, in general, I think I'm probably missing out on some of those 14 to 16 inch class fish, and that's fine by me. I'm out there for that 18 to 20 inch class fish, and throwing bigger baits. Yeah, it's usually what you'll see me. I look more like a largemouth guy out there. So
yeah, I like it.
Not a single thing that hits the bottom.
I mean, I always have a Ned rig tied on. I just hate throwing those things, dude. Like, I mean, I hate throwing a Ned rig. It always catches fish.
It's got to be a bad day for you to pull that out.
I've gotten torched by buddies. I have one particular buddy. He fishes this Ned rig's very different than anything you've ever seen. I've never seen anybody fish it like this, and it only really does like this in the spring, like early spring. But he absolutely kicks my ass in the spring with this, and I refuse to do it. I'm like, dude, I'm not throwing that thing. But especially if you're sight fishing, if you end up in a situation in the summertime where it's like really clear and you'll like see smallmouth, a Ned rig, and I say Ned rig, I usually throw some variation of it on that type of head. That you can get them to eat with that more reliably than other things. So
don't. You're not fooling anybody, Josh. We know you're creating platinum cure Ned rigs for your buddy. You got him in. You got him in your backpack. Yeah. Everybody knows. Well, my friend, I know you gotta probably keep on packing and hand pouring some munchies for the upcoming Columbus. Look forward to meeting you down there. I can only imagine you're gonna lose your breath, lose your voice by the end of 3 days of explaining how to, 1, pronounce Achigan, and 2, tell that story 75,000 times over and over again. I'll be praying for you, but we'll stop by the booth. We'll do a little video action. You'll be a part of my compilation, hopefully. And cool, thank you for your time, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. It was a pleasure speaking with you. And yeah, man, we'll connect. I'll buy you a beer in Columbus. So
there we go. I like it. I like it a lot. So special thanks once again to the sponsor of the show, Dark Horse Tackle, which I look forward to spending a little time with this upcoming weekend as well. Wyatt, any parting words? I know this is like outside of your
so far
skill set. We'll bring it back to largemouth. We were like back to back. Last week we talked about it. This week we talked about it. But yeah, it'll be good. All right, folks, you guys have a fantastic week. We'll see you next Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. See you
later.